Good morning, babies, and welcome to Simply Stacy, where the joy of the Lord is our strength. Well, today is Friday, and you know what I like to talk about? Relationships. Because our whole world, our whole life, we're always going to have to deal with relationships one way or another. If it's not dealing with concerning a spouse, it's relationships with our children, relationships that we have at our jobs with other people, relationships in businesses, relationships with friends, relationships in our churches, just on and on and on. Life is just about relationships. And so many people have problems with relationships. They have fear relationships. It's hard for them to build relationships for one reason or another. But babies, you want good, healthy relationships. Good, healthy relationships. But that's only going to happen when you're healthy. A lot of you are in fear of getting into a relationship with a man or a woman because you've been hurt in the past. And because of that hurt that you had inflicted on you from your past, it's making you fearful of going into and opening up into a relationship with somebody else and really giving your all in all to them. Now, some people go in there and attempt to start a relationship with somebody, but they really don't give their all. And you hear people saying, "Oh, I'm going to hold back a piece. I'm not going to give my all." Well, really, you're not really loving those people, because you can't just give a piece of yourself and think you're going to get a full, productive, committed relationship. You're not. You're not. And there's people out here thinking like this every day. I'm gonna give them so much, but I'm gonna hold a part back. Basically, you're just a liar. That's what it all boils down to, because you're keeping secrets. You tell them what you want them to hear. You give as much as you want to give. You hold back. You play games. You're manipulative because you're trying to spare your feelings. But at the end of the day, you're gonna end up hurt. You're stacking the deck against yourself. But when you're in dysfunction and your mind is in dysfunction and you're thinking in this dysfunctional way, you don't realize that you're hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself. So, babies, the best thing you can ever do so that you can have a good relationship, so that you won't be hurt again, is make yourself whole. Allow yourself to get inner healing. Allow yourself to be a good, productive person that is ready for a committed relationship with another person. So many women and men are fearful of getting in relationships because of the pain in the past. Even in your childhood, you don't have pain and hurt. So most people try to do things to protect themselves from being hurt. But yet, they wind up getting themselves hurt in a many different way in the midst of trying to protect themselves. A lot of times people put walls up against the wrong people. The people they should put walls up for and keep out, they don't. They let them in. And the ones that they should let in, I tell you, it's something, babies. It's really something. It's really something. And the ones that they should let in, they got the walls up, won't let them in. Then they let in the wrong person. It's just something to see in life. It's just something to see. But, babies, I want to talk about your fear of going into relationships. I want to give you this scripture today. I want to give you 1 John 4 and 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. Baby, if you got all this fear, number one, perfect love has not had its work in you. That's why you're in fear. Number two, you may be with somebody that really don't love you. Because they really love you, you don't have to be fearful of them. Like, are they gonna hurt me? Because that love is comforting. Everybody that knows this, love comforts you. Love has a peace about it. Just like 1 Corinthians 13 say, love is patient, love is kind, love is gentle, love is long suffering. It's a peace about love. You don't have to feel threatened by it. Where they be saying love hurts, no, love don't hurt you. That's a demonic verbiage. It's an anti-Christ verbiage. Love don't hurt. Love is patient, it's kind, it's long suffering, it's gentle, it's peaceful. It's not easily puffed up. Do that sound like something that's going to hurt you? Babies, that's why it behooves us to get in our word and love what God says on these subject matters and not get our information from the world. A lot of stuff a lot of things that are done in the world and in our lives. stem from the pain that we have experienced from our childhood, from relationships. A lot of people make decisions based on that. Where you're gonna go, what you're gonna do, who you're gonna hang with, who you're gonna be with. A lot of people base their pain and their decisions based on their pain and stuff that's in their life. You don't want to do that. You want to get healing. You want to get that perfect love manifested in you. Because, babies, God says, love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you don't love yourself, if love ain't in you, it's impossible to be able to love somebody else. You can't do it. It's impossible. That's why you see so many people out here half-cocked in relationship with people, half-cocked loving them because they really don't love themselves. Babies, and I'm going to tell you something. Even with my life, I don't have fear of relationships no more. There's a time I did, but I don't now. I don't have a fear of getting in a relationship because I have learned character and I have learned God. Once you really learn God and learn the fruit of the Spirit and learn God's characteristics, when you look at people, if they don't have the characteristics of God, if they're not walking in the fruit of the Spirit, no, they're not sent by God. You don't want to deal with that. And you want to make sure that you're walking in the fruit of the Spirit and you're walking in the character of God. Because the same way that you're looking for somebody like that, they want you to be like that. Good people want other good people. Babies, you want to make sure that the person that comes in your life is really walking this thing out with God. Talk is one thing. Talk is one thing. Seeing them in church, they all dressed up in the finest clothes and they own their A game when they're in church. But how are they after church? Are they living this thing where they're not in the church? Are they living this thing in their everyday daily lives? That's the key. But babies, you don't have to have fear of getting in relationships. You don't have to have fear. What you need to know is get the knowledge. Knowledge is power. God said, for the lack of knowledge, my people are perishing. Because of the lack of knowledge, you perished in your relationships before. This was me. I perished in my relationships because I had the lack of knowledge of how relationships operated. What was God's will for relationships? I was not equipped when I left home to deal with relationships. A lot of people in the church, even the pastors and stuff, they're not equipping the people of God how to deal with relationships. They don't know how. The pastor don't know how, so he can't teach you what he don't know. But babies, I'm telling you from experience, I'm telling you from walking this thing out of my life right now, is that you have to learn God's ways. You have to learn his characteristics so that you will be able to discern good from evil. Babies, and this is what's going to cast out the fear, because you're going to have perfect love with God. You're going to learn the love of God. You're going to be walking out the love of God in your daily life. So when love presents itself to you, you're going to know the love of God. You're going to know that this person is walking in love. You're going to know that God didn't send them to hurt you. God ain't going to send nothing to hurt you. He's not going to send nothing to hurt you. But you have to be able to discern that it's God. He said, my sheep know my voice, and a stranger they won't follow. So when these men and these women come up and conversate to you, what voice are you hearing? Can you discern the voice of God in them? Can you discern the voice of the enemy in them? And if you can't, that's where your problem lies. You have to learn God. You have to learn his way, his will, his purpose for relationships. You have to learn God's character. You have to learn God's voice so that when they come to you, you will hear God in them. You will be able to discern that, oh, this is God. You'll be able to discern their spirit. Babies, just allow God to continue to cultivate you, continue to teach you. You know, it's a lot of information out here. But God says, and all you're getting, get what? Understanding. See, just having the knowledge is not enough. You got to understand. You know, just having God is not enough. You got to understand God to be able to apply his principles to your life. and to execute them out in your everyday life and your everyday decisions. Babies, learn God. Learn the traces of God. Allows God's love to be perfected in you. Get a healing. And remember that perfect love casts out all fear. When that person come along that's sent by God, that love is going to be made perfect in them. You ain't going to have to fear them because they're not coming to hurt you. They're sent by God to be a gift to you, to love you. This is male and female. God is going to send somebody in your life that is going to manifest the Spirit of God. Going to be an open manifestation of God's love to you. Each person is a gift to the other person. And that's what you want. You want a gift from God. You don't want something sent by the devil, because that's not going to be a gift. That's going to be a thorn in your flesh. It's going to be a tormentor. You're going to be in prison. You're going to be in bondage. Then God got to come set you free. Because so many people out here is in bondage. They're either married or a lot of them doing the wrong thing, shacked up, or, just in relationships or whatever. But a lot of people are not with something that has been sent by God. They're in relationships that is not of God, not ordained by God. The enemy has sent them. It behooves you to know when the person comes in your life, are they sent by God or sent by the enemy? And number one, if they are not manifesting the fruits of the Spirit, if they not are walking according to God's word and God's purpose and God's will, that is not sent by God. I don't care what nobody tells you. I don't care what lie the devil tried to tell your mind. There's no way that you're going to be walking the things out of God and living for God, and He's going to send you somebody that's not. It's going to be warfare in your home. And that's what so many people are in. They are in warfare right now, every day, every minute of their life, because they went out here and got something that was not of God, because they couldn't discern the spirit that was in that person. They didn't know God's voice. They didn't know His characteristics. They didn't understand the fruits of the Spirit. They didn't understand what God said about love, because He tells you what love is. Babies, just learn God. Learn God. Walk in the fruit of the Spirit, so that you'll be able to discern good from evil, so that your perfect love will cast out all fear. You won't have to fear. You won't have to fear. Knowledge is power. And in all you're getting of knowledge, make sure you get understanding. Babies, I love you, and so does God. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I know that there's so many of you singles out there want companions in your life, and there's so many questions, and I see so many things on my social media pages, from YouTube to Facebook to Twitter. I get a lot of inbox questions about relationships, and I just deal with it on a regular basis. But remember, out of your pain brings this fear. And you not having a true understanding of God and His ways and His characteristics is bringing this fear, because you don't know what to look for. You don't know what to look for. You don't know how to discern somebody when they come in your life, to discern if it is of God or if it's not of God. That has helped me so much. That's why, like now, I don't have the fear. I know that I'm not going to get something that's not talking and acting like God. Because I don't want to be in warfare in my home. I've been there, done that. I don't want to do it no more. And I'm not going to do it no more. So it behooved me to really get an understanding of the God I say I serve. And it behooves you to do the same thing. So that love that you want and that relationship that you want with somebody, you will be able to have it. And you want to be what somebody else desires. You want to be what you desire. You don't want to require something of somebody that you're not willing to give yourself. So, babies, make sure you are what you want. That makes a difference. Because when you become the part, you will know the part. When you become that thing, nobody won't be able to trick you. Like me, I have become that thing. I'm living this thing. So I know it when it's walked out, when it's talking, because I'm walking it out and living it every day in my own life. So you know it when you see it. Most people have not seen love. Some people haven't seen real people of God walk this journey out. So it's hard for you to spot it. It's just like saying, go to the grocery store. You send your little kid to the grocery store and say, go to the grocery store and get me an orange. But they never seen an orange. They don't know what an orange is. They don't even know how to spell the word orange. So when they go to the grocery store, how are they going to find an orange? They might pick up an apple, a pear, banana, thinking it's an orange. And that's what so many people do in relationships. They go pick up all these different people thinking that they are people of God. But they're not. It's the counterfeit. It's the enemy. Sending distractions and diversions. Sending you on an exit that you shouldn't even be going on because you didn't know an apple from an orange. You didn't know God from the enemy. Babies, I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend and a wonderful day. And I hope that this encourages you, that you get some understanding out of it. Babies, have a wonderful day. Smooth the sugar woogers.